Alright, guys, welcome to yet another episode of Lowdown. You're listening to that Wednesday night delight that is Lowdown with the levels of wrestling, and we're more excited to do this show than those idiots that still think CM Punk's coming back to WWE. You can join us in the fun by tweeting us at Leveler LOW on Twitter. Give us all your questions, your thoughts. We'll be sure to answer as many as we can on the show. Of course, when you're done listening to this, make sure you give our video a like. You can subscribe to us on YouTube so you keep up with all the weekly updates. And of course, please share our channel, because the more the interest that we get in this, the bigger the show is going to get for you guys. Don't forget, July 23rd, we've got an interview with Bram, so send in all your questions and we'll see how many we can answer. Joining me tonight, we've got Ant and we've got Chris. Hopefully Paul and Crystal will join us later on. But for the meantime, guys, what were your thoughts on Money in the Bank?
All right, you want me to go first? All right.
Yeah, and you can go first.
Yeah, I was actually a big fan of it. We did the Wrestle Rehash show over at the Wrestle Addict, and we spoke. Me, Paul, and G-Rod spoke about it. And the Owens Cena match was beautiful storytelling. The ladder match was everything you want in a ladder match. It was hard hitting. I mean, the only match I really didn't care about, to be honest, was the Big Show Ryback match. Besides that, I think everything was a really good show. It was a lot better than Elimination Chamber, in my opinion, and it advanced storylines even further.
I gotta say, I kind of agree. Although everyone thought that Elimination Chamber was gonna be the transitional show, I kind of feel Money in the Bank's been the transitional one this time to set up long-term feuds towards SummerSlam. Now they've got 5 weeks to set things up for Battleground, and then things are obviously going to continue from there.
It feels good to have a 5-week build for once. Like, I missed it.
Yeah, it goes to show that, even having a live event, because we have the July 4th event, of course, from Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
So, it goes to show that even having live events, you can still aim for the long story build without having to think, oh, we need a story for this event, we need a story for that event, we need a story for every event.
Now, how good does it feel to know that WWE were going to make the Elimination Chamber a house show? Look how many good things came out of Chamber going into Money in the Bank. And that was going to be a house show.
I mean, Elimination Chamber rekindled my interest in the tag division.
Yeah, it kind of helps. I mean, Primetime Players were doing something interesting as well.
Well, that's how Titus, they made Titus look like a beast in that match. So I guess that's how they kind of got the idea to go with the Primetime Players as number one contenders.
That was always the plan. You can tell from the promos.
Yeah, sometimes they're hot on teams and they cool off, though.
Yeah, they kind of did that with them the first time around. I remember they had Abraham Washington. Fucking horrible name, man.
That was the reason that went to crap, though.
Yeah, no, there was. But the minute they took him away, the team died off. And now they're kind of giving them that little boost of energy, a little bit of rejuvenation. And it's really helping. I mean, like you said, Titus looks like a monster. Every time he gets in the ring, he's like a fucking freight train. It's incredible.
Might be the best hot tag in the business right now.
Quite possibly, at least in WWE, I would say. Would you guys, I'm assuming you're going to agree with me and say that Kevin Owens versus John Cena was match of the night.
Match of the year, in my opinion. And I'm not one of those. I love Kevin Owens. I'm not one of those huge Kevin Owens marks, although I did buy a shirt. And it came today, which I'm pretty pumped about. But match of the night, man. John Cena does it again. And for all the Cena haters out there, I mean, how many good matches has this guy put on since he's won the U.S. belt? It's been amazing. It's been one of his best runs of his career.
Oh, easily. Do you know what's amazing is since they've put him back in that kind of back seat a little bit, he's helped so many guys to shine, regardless of the hate that he gets, like you said. These haters are slowly beginning to go, oh, do you know what? Maybe John Cena's worth the respect that we weren't giving him. Maybe he is that good. I don't know, but let's not say it, because he still looks like a fucking walking billboard. But other than that, John Cena's so good.
The way I think about it is Kevin Owens is great, okay? But if Kevin Owens debuted and attacked anyone else, it wouldn't be as effective as it is right now, because he's going after John Cena, who's been the face of the company and the top guy for the last 12 years.
Exactly.
Anyone else, yeah, it would be a good feud. This is one of the best feuds I've seen Cena in years. It's so fresh.
What we're getting now with Owens and Cena is what I believe Wyatt Cena should have been. It should have been vicious. It should have been straight to
I
the point,
agree.
and they should have had hell of a good matches. Unfortunately, they fucked up, but that's okay. Now we're getting some good moments with Bray. We're getting some good moments with Cena. We're getting some great moments with Owens. The
Cena
guys
and
all
Owens have magic in the ring. They're just are two guys that have the perfect chemistry.
check this out. I'm going to say something controversial now. Kevin Owens is better than CM Punk was, and he's doing the exact same thing as CM Punk was doing.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. But
I'll agree with that. I don't think promo-wise, I like his smug, cocky promos. CM Punk on the mic was something special. In the ring, I loved CM Punk. I was a huge mark for him. I always thought he was a little sloppy, though.
I thought his ring work was really bad at times.
Kevin Owens is someone who you can tell he takes pride in his work. While it doesn't look like he takes much pride in his body, the guy does work his ass off.
He's not doing bad. I mean, look at the shape he was in 2 years ago compared to now.
what you have to take in mind is how much of your body is the show and how much of it you actually need. I think Owens isn't happy about going for the show. He's more happy about going for what he needs to put on a good performance, which has worked out fine for him. I mean, look at it.
The guy, I mean, look at Ryback. Ryback has the best body in the business, and he blows up after 2 minutes.
Oh man, let's get the guy without a shirt, by the way, every single week. See this week on Raw when he took his top off.
That dude is I looked at my brother-in-law. We were watching. I said, "Dude, that guy's like a brick shithouse. Like he is ripped. Why? I don't get why they cover these guys. I know it sounds kind of weird that we're saying that, but when you have guys that are that massive, that is something that they should show off.
Right, you get him out there, you put a little bit of baby oil on him, throw him out, give him the Randy Orton treatment, but he's not.
And Randy Orton lost his body after he got hurt. His
and
body's
after
just
the
coming
drugs
back.
came away, and
He's just getting it back. I mean, when he came back, after he was filming a movie, was he doing? Is that after Rollins put him out?
Yeah, towards WrestleMania time.
He came back. He was like a doughy midsection Orton. He wasn't the real ripped, athlete that he was. And now he's starting to get that back, obviously, because he's back on the schedule.
Right, and it's weird, but do you know what? I kind of like the way he looks now. He's not too big, he's not too toned. Randy Orton's the one guy, though, that as much as he phones it in a lot of the time, you're going to get a half-decent match from, regardless of how much he tries. His ring psychology is really good at times.
Then he gets put with some boring opponents like Sheamus, though.
Dude, him and Sheamus, that's the opposite of magic. And you think those two, because I like Sheamus and I like Orton, and you're like, wow, this feud's going to be cool. Every time they get in the ring, I find myself looking at my phone or doing something else because I'm just not invested.
The one I'll never forget is the post-Mania Raw where Big Show interfered and people were chanting, "Thank you, Big Show." That says it all.
That does.
I'm cool with people chanting, for Big Show. I like Big Show. He's, as much as people hate him, I don't think he's that bad. I actually think he's a really good athlete. People tend to forget that these guys are athletes. Big Show is one of the best on the roster for his size. I mean, there hasn't been a big guy quite as athletic as him at his size, ever. I mean, Andre was good, but he was slow. Great Khali couldn't walk. Giant Gonzalez couldn't do anything. You look at Big Show, and this guy is he's toned. See, when he was younger, he was doing moonsaults.
When he was the Giant in WCW, that dude's body and the way he kept himself in shape at that size was like a spectacle, dude. I remember I went to a WCW show and I was probably 9 years old and I was 2 rows from the ring, and you see someone that big, that close, it's like a superhero almost. It's insane. You don't think people like that exist in the world.
I think it's crazy as well. I looked back at the Floyd Mayweather Big Show thing. See if Big Show got back into that kind of shape, he would be so dominant on the roster just now because there's no one even close to being his size. He could terrorize.
The problem
he could take over where Big Show just did.
I hate that they make him they did the whole crying angle when he was just a big bitch. I hated that.
That ruined him.
He does that every 6 months, though.
Yeah, and then he turns every 2 days, but. He was fucking the ironclad contract, and then they were building him as this badass, and then a year later, Stephanie McMahon slaps him and he's crying. I don't really get what they do with him because, like you said, he could be a top monster in the company.
Speaking of top monsters, how did we feel on Monday Night Raw with Bray Wyatt cutting the promo about Roman Reigns' family and being a father?
Oh, best promo I've seen from Bray Wyatt in a while.
Yeah, it was refreshing because it actually gave something for Reigns to fight for. You know, a lot of times Wyatt goes out there and people are like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Because he just, he rambles on. I'm a big fan of Wyatt. I love his promo work. It does get repetitive. This was something new and fresh.
I'd like them to get his daughter involved, like they did with Rey Mysterio's son when it was Punk versus Mysterio.
Do you know what? I would like that, but I legit think that Bray Wyatt's one of those guys that could scare children properly, and I don't know if WWE would take that chance anymore.
I think they should, because that'd be amazing.
I think they should too, but I mean, it comes down to sponsors and what they want to do with it. However, saying this, Bray Wyatt, he's clearly taken some inspiration more recently. I know he's mentioned them before and things that he's done with, but Jake the Snake, this guy is so close to that. Jake the Snake and Raven, that's all I hear every time he cuts a promo.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that one on
I never
Monday.
thought Raven, but now that you're saying it, it's piecing together really, really well.
It's almost the way he delivers it.
Yeah.
Like, it's rambles and rambles and rambles, and then there's a point. And then it rambles and rambles and rambles again. Now, there's
But it
still a lot
sucks
of
you
people...
in. Because once he makes that point, you're like when he held up that picture of Reigns' daughter, everyone was like, holy shit. And then you were sucked right back into the promo.
Right, and how good's this going to be for Reigns? I mean, people were saying, obviously, Bray Wyatt, it's just another random feud. It's not going to make sense. This is the perfect thing. I go back to what I said on... Sorry, on you go, Chris.
These people don't understand the concept of character development. The one thing that everybody else on the roster has had except Roman Reigns is character development.
I can agree with that. I'm a Reigns fan. I can agree with that. His character was confused, lost. Once the Shield broke up, Rollins got new music, new gear. Ambrose got new music, new gear. Roman Reigns stayed the same.
Yeah, and
with a pitch change in his music.
Yeah, the biggest issue I have though is you look at what was it now? You look at the feud going into WrestleMania. You had Paul Heyman on the microphone. That was a perfect opportunity to say, right, let's get this guy some active character development going on. No, none of that happened.
I think, for me personally, that was his time to become a better in-ring competitor. And since January, my God, has that guy improved. I mean, he's gone.
I think he's one of the MVPs of the year. Cena's so far my MVP of the year. Reigns is a close second.
And you know, it's just 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a favorite in WWE. It had been Bray Wyatt for a very long time, and because they hadn't used him, I'd kind of slacked off on it a bit. Seeing this last week, I've had Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Kevin Owens, and John Cena all in those top spots.
Yes. To me especially, I sound like a typical IWC mark here, but Owens is... Considering that Owens wasn't meant to come up to the roster until, for
another 6 months at least.
Yeah. Considering he wasn't meant to come up
yet. This was Sami Zayn's spot.
Oh, yeah, Sami Zayn was meant to be feuding with Cena. Well, not feuding, but, he was meant to be in a program with Cena. The fact that he's been able to come up, fill the shoes, and have magic, it's like, well, shit, I can't wait to see what else he can do.
Do you know what really worries me, though, is because obviously this is now a chance for Kevin Owens to shine. When Sami Zayn comes up, they're going to latch onto that feud again. And to me, I'm almost worried that's going to be a step back for him.
Yeah. It depends.
You're on the top guy in the last 12 years. You're going to step back to a guy that just got called up. I can see where you're going with that.
I can understand what they're doing, because what they'll do is keep in mind, they've got Zayn out until October. Right. So you have... hold on, 4 months to make Owens look like the second best heel in the company behind Lesnar.
No, Owens will look the top heel in the company by then, because Lesnar is not going to be, regardless of how they push him now. If he's beating up Seth, he's going to be a face.
But then they'll have Reigns versus...
They're doing some weird thing with Seth, and we're talking about favorites. Seth Rollins is my known favorite.
See, I hate Seth Rollins at the moment.
Bro,
Yeah,
I think Monday that promo was shades of Jericho. I loved it.
yeah, but I don't like Jericho, so I mean that's brushing up the wrong tree with me.
Yeah, but his match, his aggressive side. We all know he's a great worker. We all saw him as Tyler Black. We all saw him when he was in the Shield. The guy can work his ass off, and it was nice to see them have him win a match on his own. Because me and Paul were talking, they made that guy too much of a chicken shit heel. Like
Yes.
it kind of killed him because everyone liked Seth Rollins. Even when he first turned heel and turned against the Shield, people were still like, man, Seth Rollins can go. Then they made him this chicken shit. Now I think they're going to bring people back in and invest in them for a Triple H feud.
I think a big part of the issue is they took away the curb stomp, which was a vicious looking move. You know,
Amazing finisher.
Someone put the curb stomp and it was like, oh shit. Now it's like, well, it's a pedigree.
Do you know what? I'm okay with the pedigree. It makes sense. However, people are still saying that come SummerSlam, we're going to have Reigns versus Lesnar and Seth versus Triple H.
Yeah, I believe that.
Right, I don't see Reigns Lesnar at all. Not at SummerSlam.
I think Seth Triple H. I see maybe Sheamus Lesnar. I think Sheamus cashes in because of Triple H, and it sets up Lesnar for Sheamus.
I think that's very possible. I think it's something they've been talking about for a long time. I'd like to see it as well.
That's a stiff match. Holy shit, that's a stiff match.
Right, and Sheamus cut a promo recently saying that he wants Brock Lesnar, and then he did an interview saying that he wanted Brock Lesnar. You don't do a promo and an off-screen interview if it's going to be something serious.
I've got Sheamus cashing in at Hell in a Cell. Or there-ish.
Possible, but I'd say he does it sooner because they're going to need that belt on someone to keep him relevant while he goes and records for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Here's the alternative, because I've been drawing a lot of parallels recently with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. A lot of people right now are saying that, oh, Roman Reigns is being screwed, and they're sounding like the people that have this year at Royal Rumble. Oh, Bryan's been screwed. Well, to be honest, Reigns is currently in the situation he was in that Bryan was in back in 2013. He'll be in the title picture. He's got some character development at the moment. He'll go into the title picture. He'll be screwed. He'll be oppressed. He'll be the favourite going into the Royal Rumble, and he'll have his WrestleMania match next year where he wins the title.
Yeah, he'll get his moment. He's definitely going to have his moment.
Which is why I think we'll get Lesnar and I think we'll get all the parallels. I think we'll get Lesnar, Reigns at SummerSlam, and immediately afterwards we'll have Sheamus cash in.
Highly possible. I won't doubt it. Obviously, it's fantasy booking. Speaking of fantasy booking, Matt Beaver, if you're listening, this one goes out to you because I know you're pissed off with me for fantasy booking. I'm saying it's too realistic.
Wasim needs chapstick.
Wasim needs chapstick. Well done for that, by the way, getting that shit on Raw. Oh no, it was on the pay-per-view. Wow. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't care what anyone says. Coming out of this feud, Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns are going to be lifelong feud in WWE. They are going to be the equivalent of Batman and the Joker.
I loved when you said that. That made me pop so hard the other day when I was reading it on the internet. That is perfect. That is a perfect way to put it. Like the one cannot exist without the other.
Right, and you don't need to like Roman Reigns. You just need to accept he gets the job done. You don't need to understand Bray Wyatt because you're not meant to. You just have to let him cause chaos.
You know what's funny? Like you make that comparison, but everyone compares Roman Reigns to Superman because he has a Superman punch and Dean Ambrose as the Joker. I thought that would be a pretty funny feud if they did that.
Man, I could get behind it if they weren't going along the lines of the Superman thing. It does my head in when people compare things to Superman. If you watch Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, they sum up Superman perfectly because Superman's bland, he's boring, he's a do-gooder. No one likes that.
I hate Superman. I'm a Batman fan.
Exactly, so am I. I mean, that's why no one liked John Cena for the last 5 years, because he was just beating everyone for no reason.
Until he started putting people over, and then everyone was like, wow.
This guy actually
put people over, though. The guy
He's done a spectacular job of putting people over. You can't.
He's leaving in a couple years. There's no doubt about it. He's going to leave in anywhere from 3 to 5 years. John Cena's not going to exist anymore. He'll be somewhere. He's not going to be wrestling. That's for sure. His body, I don't think his body. He'll be 42 in 5 years. I think he'll be done.
I think he goes for the Rock treatment and goes for small parts in films while still being an agent in WWE. If anything, they need to make him like a physical trainer, not as in like I'm going to train you in the ring. He's going to train you how to build your body to look good on TV.
Yeah, I mean that guy's body has. I mean, everyone can say steroids. That guy's body hasn't changed since he came up. That's not steroids.
Well, it has changed quite dramatically since 2003. You look at 2003 to 2005, there is a huge change. It's not a bad change. It just took time for him to improve his shape.
Yeah, but if you've seen the past, I mean, like I said, the past 10 years, past decade, his body's been pretty much the same. He hasn't really gotten. You know when he got bigger when he was fighting The Rock. He got a little bit bigger.
He did, yeah, but it was natural build, and that's a good thing. I mean, we've also seen a lifting the 400 kilogram weights and things like that. Sorry, the 200 kilogram weights, 400 pound weights.
Yeah, that guy's a monster. That guy's a fucking freak.
He is, but it's incredible to watch, and that's what wrestling was. I mean, that's what I miss from wrestling, is big guy wrestlers. These guys who are strong, that move quick. These guys who can lift you and look terrifying at the same time. It's something that's missing in the last 8, maybe even 9 years. A lot of people complain, obviously, WWE has the bodybuilder stereotype. Where?
Which they do. But they do because my buddy Bill, who has Bill, who has his he's talking to NXT. They've asked him to do bodybuilding shows and get on a bodybuilding. He's been on a bodybuilding diet for about a year now. So they do want you to have a body.
No, I completely agree. They want you to have a body, but what I'm thinking just now is, for the last 8, 9 years, guys have progressively been getting smaller. It's not a big deal, but right now, it's like there's guys there that aren't big, and they need that. They need that to come in and draw attention. So they're going to get new guys to be big.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar is an attraction because nobody in the world looks like Brock Lesnar.
I was going to say, but to Lesnar's credit, he's a genetic monster. Nobody
exactly,
can.
But you can't clone a Brock Lesnar, but you do need a big guy like that to come in and dominate. I mean, I'll throw a question out there for you guys. Who's the top 3 big guy wrestlers currently in WWE?
Don't you dare say Big Show.
I'm going to say Big Show. Big Show, Kane, and Brock Lesnar. I could say Luke Harper, but I don't see him personally as a big guy wrestler.
He doesn't have the body. I mean, he's built,
Right,
but he doesn't.
Exactly.
He doesn't have like something where you're like, holy shit, that guy's enormous.
Exactly. You can say. You could even say Eric Rowan.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is like an inch taller than me, so you can't call him a big guy.
No.
I hate when people do that.
So
the issue you get here is, and you got to keep in mind, a lot of people grew up on wrestling in the 70s, the 80s. You've got a lot of people now that have been fans and want to get involved, which is why you get the shorter guys, because a lot of these people are people that are fans that have wanted to get involved. Whereas before it used to be, you're an absolute monster, do you want to come and work for us? Now it's people going to the company, not the company going to the people.
that's true. But yeah, I agree with you because I don't want to see people like Khali in the wrestling business, to be honest.
I am not a fan of... There are a lot of people that say, oh, well, so-and-so doesn't look like he can beat so... Okay, that's great. But the issue I have is how many big guys are good at what they do. How many of them can put on a 5-star match?
Right, and that's why I believe WWE is now looking for these bigger guys. They even put out a casting call last year for guys over 7 foot. I mean, when you're putting out casting calls, not wrestling calls, it's a desperation move.
It is.
Guys, what were your thoughts
That's the
on...
problem. They're putting out a casting call. I'm sorry, but they're putting out a casting call, and then these people are going to come in green as hell, and they're going to try to have to train these people who've never stepped in a ring. It's going to be a train wreck.
Which is why the big guys aren't good anymore.
And that's why I've suggested Big Show goes and works in the Performance Center and teaches the new big guys to do something.
And Kane shows people how to talk. That'd be well.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. However, you need to keep one of them on TV at a time because they help make the smaller guys look even smaller.
Mark Henry.
No, you see, Mark Henry's not a big guy. He's intimidating, but he's not a big guy wrestler.
I guess we can categorize Luke Harper Luke Harper, I would consider him a big guy wrestler. He's probably the best big guy wrestler besides Brock.
Yeah, Krista, who would you say is currently the best big guy wrestler?
Well, when it comes to experience and longevity, I would say it was a toss-up between Kane and Big Show, as much as I hate to admit it. Of the new breed coming up, I would say Luke Harper, definitely.
I got one that no one's mentioned. Get the Undertaker
Yeah.
in to train people.
Taker could train people, I would
Yeah.
agree, but he's getting a bit out of shape. I don't mean that in any
Yeah.
disrespect to him. He's a great wrestler, great character, but
He could do, like, if he was going to train them, he could train them about presence in the ring, because
Yeah.
he's always had a presence in the ring. Not necessarily the moves and everything else. That could be left to the other big men. But
Do you-
for showmanship.
Finn Balor
and-
was on the record saying, Finn Balor said Undertaker helped him with his entrance, which makes perfect sense.
Which is why Balor has a presence in his entrance.
do you know what's amazing? People forget that wrestling is acting. Undertaker's presence is all to do with the cameras.
Yeah.
At least on
Yep.
TV. Everything he does, the way he steps into the ring, where he does his left leg first and comes in from the back corner, it's a way of being open in character. So he opens himself up to the camera. So you see how big he is. You see how intimidating and muscular his physique is. And then when you're in
See,
the
but-
crowd and he takes that coat off, that's when you see the shadow cast where the light hits.
But see, that's the thing, is that's what he could train the performance center. It's like, do you want to have this impact? This is how you enter. This is how you get into the ring. This is how you keep an eye on all four cameras without actually looking like you're looking for the camera.
Like Finn Balor did in New Japan, when he looked at the camera and you're like, well, thanks guys.
He looks directly at the camera. Guys, what were your thoughts on Raw this week with Kevin Owens powerbombing MGK?
Fair play to Machine Gun Kelly for wanting to do that.
I'm gonna hold off on my comment because that has a later segment.
Okay, no problem. I'm okay with it. I didn't like the way Machine Gun Kelly tweets out afterwards. That was my
Yeah.
only gripe with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah, that's cool. We'll get to it later on. Guys, don't forget, we're now a third of the way through the show. If you're liking the video, give us a like. You can subscribe to our channel. You can also share. Be sure to head over to levelsofwrestling.podbean.com. Listen to all of our shows, including the Ringside Ramblers, Just Saying, Mind of Carnage, ourselves. And tomorrow night, you can hear Podcast Orgy 2 with Minds of Carnage, some of us from Levels of Wrestling, and the guys from Wrestle Addicts. It's going to be huge. Tune in. It's probably going to be
That's
crude.
me.
It's going to be rude, it's going to be crude, there's going to be dick jokes. We might talk wrestling. There's going to be a Chrysopes. If they're quick enough, they'll call it a chrysalis and it'll evolve into something better. That's just how we do it, but be sure to tune in. Guys, I asked earlier tonight on Twitter about dream matches that are left to see. If you could pick any one dream match, who would it be and what's the stipulation? We'll go with Krista first. Krista.
She's muted. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, I was stuffing my face.
Oh, Podcast Orgy 2. There's a nice plug for you.
Yeah, there you are. My dream match that could potentially happen, will never happen, doesn't matter.
No, go for it. Just if it could happen, even better. If it doesn't, that's fine. I would rather it was something that did happen, though.
Honestly, I'd like to see Stone Cold versus Brock in a Texas Death Match.
Nice call. I'm assuming at WrestleMania 32.
Whenever WrestleMania would be the ideal stage. It doesn't have to be 32. It could be 33. It could be any time, but it's got to be WrestleMania. And it's got to be a Texas Death Match.
Cool. And what's yours, man?
I actually did. It's funny that we do a show on the Wrestle Act. We put up one episode. It's called TWA Dream Match, and we have people vote on it. And my first dream match, because I used to be a CM Punk mark, was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk.
Yep.
I don't think the match would be as great as people think, but the promos up to it would be magical. That's something that I wanted to see, and they kind of teased when Punk was still there. And now, obviously it's never going to happen.
I'm assuming you're referencing the segment where he walks backstage. He's like, drinking on the job's bad. And Austin's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, great segments. It could have been a good lead up. I think that was like 2 weeks before Punk left, actually, the first time around with the pipe bomb. So, who knows? Who knows? Chris, what would be your dream match?
That was actually going to be mine, obviously, Punk Austin, purely because of the promos going into it. However, I have no issue whatsoever with Austin Cena.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Especially with the stuff to do with the Springboard Stunner.
I like that.
I feel like that would be a good launching platform, ironically enough, Springboard Stunner.
Stone Cold's such a badass, and Cena's such a good guy. It would just be phenomenal.
Well, I can imagine at first, you'd have promos where Cena's laughing and joking, and you'd have Stone Cold cut that shit out, and you'd get serious Cena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check out this comparison. That would be like Lobo versus Superman.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know Lobo is, go research him. You should know because we're all nerds. El Caberto on Twitter says Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle in an ultimate submission match.
That's not bad.
I'm okay with it.
My dream match for Bryan's HBK.
Do you know what? I don't like it. I'm okay with people wanting it.
And a student, I would love that.
Yeah, but we all know what the result would have to be. Bryan would have to go over.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Everyone thought Sting had to go over at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That hurt me. That hurt me so bad that it still didn't happen.
I'm actually glad. It told the perfect story.
What, you mean Vince's fuck you to WCW still?
No, it told the story of the Monday Night Wars. Like, you start with two guys, Triple H, Sting, out comes DX, out comes NWO, they take over in the ratings, then all of a sudden, boom,
then Shawn
Michaels shows up. Shawn Michaels represents DX, coming, and the Attitude Era coming, and then, in the end, WWE wins. That's the story I got from it, at least.
That's actually a very good comparison right there, and I never really thought about it until now.
Obnoxious CJ Webb says he wanted to see Cena versus Taker at WrestleMania for the streak. I honestly would have been okay with this match on two conditions. It was an I Quit match, and if Cena loses, he retires.
Yeah.
Because that was completely unpredictable. Go on,
Greg. I think G-Rod has a match for you. Yeah, just read the tweet that G-Rod just sent from the Wrestle Addict.
Okay, okay, here we go. Undertaker versus Mean Mark Calloway in a Why Am I Looking at Myself match. Book it. I'm cool with this, provided we throw in fake Undertaker as well.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, fake Undertaker.
I want fake Taker versus fake Kane.
I actually wanted a American Badass versus Bray Wyatt in a non-Bray Wyatt injured match.
Yeah, I wanted that too so bad, but we didn't get it.
I hate Biker Taker, so I'm just going to shut up this segment.
Right, see, I hated Biker Taker too, but that's why you have Bray Wyatt goad out the dead man. I booked it last year, though, for Brock versus Taker, calling out Taker and, Taker coming out on the bike saying he was done, that was it. And then eventually Brock saying he wasn't afraid of him, there was no need for it. He wasn't worried about Undertaker, he wasn't a threat. And then out walks the dead man at WrestleMania, and the whole tone of the match changes.
That's awesome. I actually like that.
See, I would have been fine with that.
Too.
Because it would have added realism to Taker's character.
Why aren't we creative? Doesn't hire all of us.
I think the issue is we are creative.
They've stolen so many of our ideas.
We would have ladder matches on Monday Night Raw for the title. We'd be like, all right, let's book a ladder match tonight.
I'll do that for the US title. Open challenge. Why not?
Yeah.
Didn't we originally?
They'd never, open challenge should mean any match, for that belt. And I think that would add so much. Like, Dean Ambrose comes out and challenges them to a no-holds-barred match, because that's what plays into Ambrose. It'd be perfect. But I like what they're doing with it, but they could definitely evolve it a little bit more.
On the topic of us being creative, didn't we book Sheamus to win Money in the Bank ages ago?
I'm pretty sure we did, because we also said he'd never won it, but he'd be a hell of a beast to do it.
I did. I called it that day. I don't know what changed my mind. I was going with Reigns still, and then all of a sudden my friend texted me and said, "Who do you have winning?" And it was 4 o'clock, 4 hours before the show, and I was like, "Sheamus." I'm like, I don't know why I just said that, but
Yeah, it's weird. My friend Jonathan and I were watching it. He's like, "So who here hasn't won a Money in the Bank?" I'm like, Jonathan doesn't watch wrestling often. He only watches pay-per-views with me. And he's like, "So who hasn't won a Money in the Bank?" And I'm like, "Well, Sheamus, Reigns, Neville, and Kofi." And he's like, "Right, Sheamus is winning. It's too obvious for Reigns."
yeah, the
And
whole thing with
I
Reigns
pretty
was-
much called Wyatt. I pretty much called Wyatt a couple of days before. I will say though, I still enjoyed it. I really did.
I didn't enjoy the Money in the Bank match. I enjoyed the rest of the pay-per-view.
See, I enjoyed that match. It had some good spots. Kofi at the beginning caught everyone off guard.
Well, I was.
You know what
really-
I'm really unhappy about is the
I'm
fact
really
that B&B lost to R-Truth. Like, what the hell?
Dude, who did Bad News Barrett fuck
pre-show.
that he's getting thrown under the table? Did he bang Stephanie or something? Because this is making no sense.
I don't
Yeah,
think so. Last I heard, he was dating Alicia Fox or whatever.
I thought it was someone else, but sure.
Yeah, I think he's on with a movie star now. He was on the red carpet a couple weeks back.
Well, he's
you know
obviously screwed somebody over because his career is going in the shitter again.
Yeah, and he's. I always say I wish Barrett would took Sheamus' spot as this top heel because I think Barrett's a better worker. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that.
I personally don't, but I can see why you say it.
And he's
I'm-
also a better
Depends
promo guy.
Well, he
am-
definitely is a better promo guy, and that I think it speaks to Barrett's strength because he can come across as that sleazy, smarmy, just awful kind of heel, whereas Sheamus is more of a brute.
He could come
He's a
off
brawler.
like they're trying to put Seth Rollins off. B&B could play that perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what really, really bugs me is this just shows how Vince doesn't care for tournaments anymore. He's destroyed them for himself because he has the tournaments and they make no sense. It's completely pointless. I mean, did they really think by making BMB, King of the Ring, it would make him relevant? Did they think it would add to his character?
No, they did it. They did it because B&B, Bad News Barrett, was getting over. And people were buying them, afraid I got some Bad News shirts. And people kept saying it when he came out with them. And it was becoming, almost like a face reaction to Wade Barrett. So Vince was like, well, fuck that. Let's make him King Barrett and, pretty much make him lose every match he's in.
Right, so are we suggesting then he's now being...
Either that or along those lines that because he's getting over without creative actually having to get behind him, kind of like Daniel Bryan was, B&B kind of caught on and it became this organic thing and he's having a hell of a good time with it. And now all of a sudden he's thrown under the bus.
Paul said Kevin Dunn doesn't like accents. It sounds stupid, but it's true.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
I kind of feel that too.
Oh, tell you what, as Paul's still listening, he also said that Cena versus AJ Styles is a dream match for him, no stipulation.
That'd be a great match.
I am actually very interested to see how certain people from TNA, New Japan, are now becoming more interested in NXT by, the fact that Samoa Joe's gone there, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are starting to see the success that's coming out of NXT, and a lot of people are starting to hate
The funny thing is,
themselves.
everyone
because
used to say
Vince doesn't
Triple
have
H
anything to
hates
do with it.
indies.
What was that, sorry?
Like when NXT first opened, they were like, "Oh, Triple H hates all the indie stars."
Yeah, they also said that Triple H hates the internet and every opinion, but it seems that everything he does kind of falls into the internet's hands.
Everything he does trolls the internet so hard. You can tell he's looked at Reddit at some point and gone, you know what, we need to troll them.
He has his ears to the street. He's more in tune than Vince, and I feel like when Vince is gone, and I feel everyone says this, WWE is going to be a powerhouse wrestling. It's going to be professional wrestling again.
See,
Well, and this is just it. And
On to you, Krista.
And that's the thing is that I don't think, because Vince doesn't have any interaction with NXT, I think that's why it's so successful. It is because Paul, Trips, knows the business. He knows the business. He's been in it a long time. So he's seen the ups and downs. He's been in the locker room when when people aren't happy with the people upstairs. He was through all the whole WCW Monday Night Wars.
My favorite thing about him is he gives the talent in NXT kind of like a creative freedom.
Yeah.
And I think that's what talent needs to grow.
Well, and I think he was also fortunate because the people he has surrounding him, like, you know, with the hands-on and NXT, I mean, you can't buy that. Like, you had, you know, rest his soul, you had Dusty Rhodes, who knew the business, you know, and was one of the, you know, best promo guy of all time. He could, you know, I was reading, like Chris has sent that link about the kind of longer tweet that Sami Zayn put out that, you know, you do a promo class with Dusty Rhodes, you're basically getting master's education when it comes to doing promos. You look at guys like William Regal who've been in the business, you know.
One of the best in-ring technical workers, yeah. You're right. You're totally right.
You know, and these are the people that are training the up-and-comers. These are the people that you have these indie guys that have been kicking it out of the park. Now they're coming into the Performance Center. They're exposed to guys like Rhodes, Regal, and, you know, you're getting Kane and Big Show, who are big workers who have been in the business a long time as well. They're bringing these indie performers up a level. And in a lot of cases, like you look at someone, say Neville, who was allowed to do that shooting, or whatever, the Red Arrow. Mm-hmm. You know, if he had gone straight to the main roster without going through NXT, I guarantee you Vince would have told him, you can't do that. He would have put them all on the 5 moves to do, because you look at somebody, and because I absolutely love him, you look at someone like Drew Galloway, who used to be Drew McIntyre, and you look at the stuff he did on the Indies,
he's fantastic.
And then you watch his stuff, he is absolutely
fantastic.
Off the charts. But you look at the stuff he did in WWE, and I'm like, I watched his indie stuff, and I'm watching him at WWE, I'm like, where the hell is all this stuff? Where the hell is all this, you know, stuff that he can do? Why isn't he allowed to do that?
Alberto Del Rio is another example.
He absolutely brilliant in the ring. Alberto Del Rio is absolutely fabulous in the ring.
And I hated him in WWE. Hated him.
Just get through a few more of these before we go on. McNabby Chick says Shawn Michaels versus Sting in a regular match, or Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor in a TLC match. Chris, put it back in your pants.
Chris Boner just hit me in the eye.
Who versus Finn Balor? Who versus Finn Balor was that?
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
TLC match. The other one comes from DSlam123, who says Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
I think it's too early to tell, but I think it'd be a hell of a slobber knocker. You're welcome, JR.
See, I don't.
You know, maybe
Kevin
not.
Owens looks intimidating until he walks up to Brock Lesnar.
But in a couple years' time, Kevin Owens could probably give him a run for his money.
Yeah, I just think, like, I don't know. I'm just someone who's big on the bill. Brock Lesnar's a freak of nature. Anyone like who gets in his face, he just looks like he can wrestle circles around Kevin Owens, and I love Kevin Owens, but I just think that match, it just wouldn't be as believable as people think.
Okay, guys, I want to hear it. We've hit that point in the show that everyone loves. I know there's going to be a couple of people out there that, hopefully, if they're listening, will send us in their weekly wazims, because I'm interested to hear about our fans' weekly wazims. You guys obviously get shit on Twitter too. Let us hear it. Give us your weekly wazim, and do you know what? We'll read each one out because we can. And what is your weekly wazim?
TMZ for playing Dusty Rhodes' 911 call from his wife. I think that's crossing lines. I get we live in a media-driven society where people want news and they want to hear what happened, but you record someone, X-Pac actually said it best on Twitter, you record someone, that's the lowest point of their life, when they're calling and pleading for help for someone that they love, and for you to broadcast that, much like you did with Ric Flair when his son passed away. It's despicable and it's disrespectful. So that is my weekly wasim.
Chris, what's yours?
My weekly wasim goes out to everybody on the internet after Money in the Bank saying Roman Reigns has been screwed.
Care to elaborate on that?
There's this concept that because Roman Reigns didn't win Money in the Bank, he's now off TV or at the bottom of the card or whatever. That's not the case. Roman Reigns has been put into a character development feud. In there, we will see the character of Roman Reigns shine and develop. We will see things like his morals. We will see things like how he responds to the threat of his family. We will see all sorts of things going on that will show us the inner workings of Roman Reigns. That's not him being screwed, that's him being set up to be a champion at some point. You cannot have a thin 2D character become a champion. You have to have him fleshed out. You have to have it become 3D.
And do you know the perfect example is that? They tried it with Diesel and it failed. Krista, what's yours?
Well, I have to agree with Matt. The whole TMZ leaking the 911 call for Dusty Rhodes online, that was poor taste. Like, come on. You know, that's just god-awful. I don't expect anything less from TMZ, but still, you know, exercise good judgment, which they obviously didn't do. I have two, actually. One is completely un-internet related, but I'm going to give my weekly cuisine to any driver who figures that, you know, the left lane is for speeding. It is not. It is for, if you're going at the speed limit, be in that lane. If you are going less than the speed limit, be in the right friggin' lane. Don't cut me off, don't give me the finger, and don't signal me to change lanes, because it ain't gonna happen, princess.
Nice. Can I just get you to mute your mic a second, Krista, while I go on a bit of a rant here?
Of course.
Okay. My weekly cuisine. Dean Ambrose being, and I quote, buried. Okay. First off, Dean Ambrose is not buried. We all know my opinions on the word fucking buried. He's not buried. He's on TV. He's on pay-per-views. He's doing interviews on national television. Quite frankly, the guy could be, you know, less buried if he tried. In fact, he's so unburied, he's fucking floating above the ground. Right now, we need to realize that Dean Ambrose is challenged for the US title. So what? He lost. He's challenged for the WWE title. So what? He lost. He lost Money in the Bank last year. He wasn't in the match this year. He's winning almost every week that he's on Raw, whether it be cheap win or not. He's still getting wins, and in some people's eyes, wins and losses still matter. Dean Ambrose, by the way, has merchandise. He's got chairs with his face for your ass to sit on. He's not buried. Dean Ambrose got...
They have baby bibs for Dean Ambrose, by the way.
They have baby bibs. Awesome. The fact is, this guy is so over that WWE are making him lose so that you get behind him. And you know why they're doing it? So they can turn him on you. And it's going to be amazing because every one of you are going to hate him. This is the most natural build they could be giving this guy, and none of you are realizing it. He's eventually going to turn, he's going to snap, and I don't care what people say, he is not going to be the next Austin. Just because his character is a bit, you know, against authority.
He's going to be the first Dean Ambrose.
Exactly.
It's going to be something totally different.
And here's the best bit. He's closer to William Regal than he is to Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's not buried.
I like that comparison.
Just go back and look at his matches and learn about his character. See how quick he's snapping. Look how upset he was at the end of Money in the Bank. Just look how sad he was. Do you know what happens when wrestlers get sad? They turn. Look what happens with Big Show. Perfect example. Big Show sad, Big Show cry, Big Show turn on your ass. He's got an ironclad contract. Kane gets sad, takes off the mask, becomes a corporate businessman, turns heel. You look at Triple H. He was a great guy, lost a couple of matches, went with DX. All of a sudden, he's one of the biggest heels in the company back in the early 2000s. You can't flaw what's good. They're following a chemistry. They're following all their formulas. They know what they're doing. Stop saying he's buried, you fucking idiots.
And that's exactly how I feel about Reigns.
Okay, I'm good.
I just want to add in, like, whoever doesn't think Dean Ambrose, I love Ambrose as a face, but I've followed the guy. He's wrestled for my friends' companies before. He plays one of the best heels that I've seen with my eyes. The guy is phenomenal as a heel. Mark my word, he is going to he might be the top heel in WWE for the next 5 to 10 years if it works out right.
If not for Owens.
Agreed. It's quite possible. Guys, let's hear it. It's that time of the night. I want to hear a pop and heat from each of you. I know, Ant, you've got one built up. We'll go with you first, and we'll work our way back through. So what you got for me this week?
I got 1 pop and 2 heats. The pop was Kevin Owens throwing MGK off the stage because that performance was horrible. I am a fan of All Music. I respect All Music, but that was just terrible live performance. I couldn't get into it. I thought it sounded like junk. The girl couldn't sing. I couldn't wait for it to be over. Then Kevin Owens showed up, and I wanted it to continue. That was awesome. My heat, 1 goes to MGK because he didn't sell it. He tweeted like 25 minutes later. Like, as a show, you should keep. He shouldn't have tweeted for a day or 2. He should have been selling the injury. And then I'd have to say WWE for taking the titles off of the New Day is my other heat. Because I feel like they're finally starting to build up a relevant heel tag team that were bringing some kind of attention to the belt and getting fans involved, and they took it away from them.
Okay. Mr. 1/3 of a Chrysipede, what you got for me?
My pop of the week would probably have to go to Owens and Cena for their performance at Money in the Bank. I cannot possibly fault that match. That was a great match. My heat of the week, honestly, my heat of the week. Actually, no, my pop of the week goes to Cena for not being on Raw for selling the injury.
Okay.
My heat of the week goes to Sheamus winning Money in the Bank. Because, yeah, you take one of the few guys on the roster who hasn't had a good match in, oh wait, how long? So that's how long it's been. I don't even remember the last time he had a good match, and they've given him Money in the Bank. Yay!
It's because he gets to be relevant when he comes back from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Krista, what's your pop and heat?
Well, I'd have to say my pop would be, again, like I agree with Chris, is the Owens-Cena match at Money in the Bank. There's nothing wrong with it. Good match. You know, kept on par. Good timing. Was good. And a bonus is Cena being off Raw, so, you know, so there's not a case of no selling. And my heat of the week is definitely Bad News Barrett losing to R-Truth in a pre-show. Like, that's just horseshit.
Okay. My pop of the week goes to Bray Wyatt being relevant. This is okay. This is legit. I never do this ever, ever, ever. He showed up on TV. I called it, and I threw my hands up in the air and cheered and smiled. At this point, by the way, it was almost 2 a.m. in the morning here. I'm trying not to make noise, and I throw my hands up in the air, and I'm like, yes, fucking yes. And all of a sudden, he's now my favorite guy again. It's incredible how that happens. My pop, Bray Wyatt is just so damn good. My heat, sorry. I don't want to complain about people on Twitter again. I really don't. This week, though, has been really tough to be on Twitter, guys. I'm loving when you guys give us feedback. I love when you guys tweet to us, ask us questions that we can answer for you. I love the interaction that we get between you guys, getting new followers. When we talk about new shows that you're also interested in, we talk about new investments. You guys love it. That's cool. I just hate seeing you guys argue. Just remember, we're all fans. We all do the same kind of thing. It's cool to debate stuff. Don't come across as hostile on Twitter. I'm going to block you if you do. There's a Levels of Wrestling account. I have a personal account. If you have a problem with me, come and find me. That's fine. Don't tweet to our account or someone else's account that someone's being racist, someone's being upset, someone's taking abuse or being abusive. That's not for us to deal with. You're wrestling fans, guys. We are a voice for you guys. We're quite happy to do that. But at the same time, we can't do anything about a mass racism problem towards another wrestler or about Naomi and Paige, stuff like that. It's not something we can deal with, unfortunately. However, I will voice opinions on that for you. So long as you're polite about it, we'll put it out there for you. With that out of the way, guys, we reached to the second. Sorry, we've got through the second third of our show. Like I said, tune into levelsofwrestling.podbean.com. You can hear us on there alongside Ringside Ramblers, Mind of Carnage. Just saying, tomorrow night you can hear us doing Podcast Orgy 2 with Wrestle Addicts and, of course, Mind of Carnage. Do not forget as well to look out for other shows during the week along with our tweets. If you're liking this video, please give it a like, give it a share, and subscribe to our channel. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of new content soon. I'm currently brainstorming a lot of stuff for you guys. We're hopefully going to come up with a couple of shows called I Need 5, which is going to be our top 5s. Very similar to like a top 5 countdown or the 5 things thing that WWE do. Unfortunately, we're going to cover angles and things that probably WWE don't want you to remember. They don't want you to see. We're going to do that for you instead. Like I said, guys, we've now hit the third part of our show. Please continue listening in. We love hearing from you. Send in any questions you've got, any thoughts you've got as well, and we'll answer that for you on the show.
We're also going to be kicking off the Podcast Orgy 2 tomorrow with a very, very special announcement. I just want to plug that real quick.
I love announcements, and I love that you announced an announcement. I am now announcing that you've announced an announcement, and I'm announcing that I'm stunned by that. And by the way, that tweet that I wrote about announcing, that was damn hard to write.
It was pretty beautiful, though.
So you're announcing that it's hard to announce, right?
I'm announcing that it's hard to announce announcements that are already announced.
But are not really announced.
I'm announcing you're an ass. Stop it.
Anyway, carrying on.
Okay, guys. We spoke a little bit about Bray and Roman. I want to hear you guys fantasy book this for me. Where do you want to see Bray and Roman end up? What do you want to be the outcome of this feud? Obviously, it can't go on forever as one storyline, but it can certainly go on for quite a while. Where do you want to see it end up? There's 2 pay-per-views, basically. Well, sorry, 1 pay-per-view between now and SummerSlam. Do you see it just going 1 pay-per-view? Does it go the whole way to SummerSlam? Does it go past SummerSlam?
I think it needs something better. I think this should lead to Wyatt versus Reigns, and then Wyatt convinces Ambrose to turn heel. We get a heel Ambrose versus Reigns.
I like that fantasy booking. It's a good way to turn someone. A very good way of turning someone. I like using a character to turn another character heel. It's a shame they never managed to do it with Dean Ambrose. Not Dean Ambrose, sorry, Daniel Bryan, but I'd love to see them do it with Dean Ambrose.
But it'll be interesting to see Wyatt try and use Ambrose as a weapon against Reigns. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping they'll do. It's what I really hope comes out of this.
I really want to see character development from all 3 guys if they can get them involved. I still don't believe that Dean Ambrose has enough character. He's a lunatic, big fucking whoop. And how do you see it going? How far do you want it to go?
I would like for it to actually be a SummerSlam feud. This is a feud I've been wanting. If anybody has known me or followed me on Twitter, I've been asking for this feud for about 6 months now.
That's why we get on so well.
This is something that I'm looking forward to. I want mind games. I want kind of like the old school mind games, like that picture that Reigns showed was perfect. I want an attack on the family, like not physically, but I want Reigns, footage of Reigns at home and Wyatt's, standing in his backyard, like creepy shit. I want like the stalker thing. I want Wyatt to beat Reigns down the first match. Not even win, but be DQ'd. Beat the shit out of Reigns using anything he can. We don't see Reigns for 2 weeks. They make you think Wyatt's doing something else. Reigns pops up 2 weeks before SummerSlam, spears Wyatt, and is kind of like his moment where he, the battered and bruised moment. Now he's going to go elevate it, and then he goes over on Wyatt. I would like to see it go, at least till after SummerSlam a little bit, but that's how I would book it. I would book Wyatt looking really strong and beating him down and looking like a monster, then Reigns having his moment where he takes out Wyatt at SummerSlam and maybe like a no DQ match.
I would love a segment at Battleground with Roman's family being in the front row and Wyatt like Sister Abigail-ing Roman Reigns in front of his daughter.
I see. This is the one time I want Vince to okay a headshot with a chair. like you said, put his family in the front row, have Bray beat him down, Sister Abigail him, put him on his knees in front of his family, and hit him with the chair. It won't happen. I'd like it to happen. It certainly gives Reigns a reason to go off and come back and be strong. He's got to fight for his family, that kind of stuff. Or even better, play the old angle. You know, they did it with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens in NXT. Put his little girl in a Bray Wyatt t-shirt.
Here was another idea I had. You have towards the end of the match, you have the lights go out. You have the lights come back on, and Roman Reigns' daughter is in the corner of the ring. Reigns gets distracted. Wyatt comes up and hits his Sister Abigail.
That could work.
See, my thing is, and I wanted him to do this with Kane. When they took Kane away, when the Wyatt family took Kane away, I wanted to see videos at the house of them torturing him.
Whoa!
Almost breaking him down mentally and physically. And I think that would be so cool to see Wyatt play that creepy stalker. He beats down Reigns, he takes him away, he plays these mind games with him. Reigns escapes, he's not seen 2 weeks before SummerSlam, he comes back, and then it builds his moment that you can beat him down, but you can't break him.
I'll do you one better. He does the same thing to Ambrose. He takes Ambrose, Reigns finds him, they both escape, gets to SummerSlam, Bray's beating him down, Ambrose comes out, it looks like he's going to help Reigns, and then Ambrose nails Reigns instead.
That would be awesome. I'm perfectly fine with that because, like you said, Ambrose, they build him as a lunatic. Well, now let's give him a lunatic with a purpose.
You know what that reminds me of?
You know what I really, this is me in my, deranged mind, imagination.
Go for it.
2 things. A, have the feud go to SummerSlam because it was a SummerSlam feud, but have Reigns look like he, join Wyatt as opposed to beating him, joining him.
Oh God, could you imagine the fangirls if Reigns put on a lumberjack shirt?
Well, that's personally why I'd want to do it, just to mess with the IWC. Second, but you know how you were talking about the psychological kind of thing?
Yeah.
Instead of putting his daughter in a Bray Wyatt t-shirt, maybe have, Reigns doing a match or whatever, and you have Bray coming to sit next to her.
Oh, that would be
and
great.
Putting his arm around her.
I'm also happy with the idea that he beats him down.
He hands her a sheep mask.
or does a promo, and you know how some people when they talk, it's a veiled threat.
Yeah.
It sounds really, harmless, but it's not. Something like that, like he could say, children are so precious and so fragile. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea that they beat Roman down in front of the daughter, and you have Wyatt just sit stroking Roman's hair in front of the daughter and tell her everything's going to be fine. Daddy's going to be okay.
Yeah. But knowing, they'd have to make sure that she understood that this was pretend because we don't want to negatively psychologically impact the daughter.
She's from a wrestling family. I'm pretty sure she knows that everything they do is fake.
Oh, no, it's
Probably,
real. She's got to believe it's real. And if she doesn't believe it's real, she's not going to sell it as a kid. Kids are terrible at acting. She'd be like, Daddy.
Dominic did a good job.
Yeah.
I think Dominic just looked scared, personally, more than anything, but that's just me. But obviously, though, what's the payoff? Who wins in this feud, Bray or Roman?
Roman.
Roman. I think Roman has to win.
I like to see Bray go over, but Bray is the kind of character who doesn't need wins. He marches to a beat of his own drum. Reigns is a character who needs wins. So
Wyatt just needs to stay relevant.
Wyatt just needs to beat the shit out of people and play mind games.
Yeah.
That's all I want from Bray Wyatt.
But he has to do the role, and he has to be on TV to do that. That's
the thing.
They just have to keep him
lost with him. Like the Ryback thing, and they just didn't know what to do with the guy.
Well, and see, this is the thing: is only there's certain wrestlers that Wyatt should never have a feud with. Ryback is one of them. There's certain people on the roster that it just doesn't work.
My problem with the Ryback
Like, I
thing
couldn't
is
see-
he just feuded with The Undertaker, and then
Yeah.
he feuded with Ryback. Like, that's
Yeah.
10 steps back.
Like, the same as I couldn't see Bray Wyatt feuding with Sheamus.
No.
I really couldn't see it. I don't think that would work.
Unless
I
Bray
don't-
Wyatt turns on the Authority, and, like, Sheamus is, like, the Authority's chosen one, I can kind of see that working, but I don't see
God,
the
not another
matches.
chosen one gimmick, please.
I
no.
don't see that match being good.
No, I don't see it being good either.
Do you know what I don't understand? I know they've talked about doing a face Bray Wyatt. Why not have him just turn on Authority?
Exactly.
I mean, he said when he first came to WWE, I'm here to tear down the machine.
Down with the machine. He always said it.
But here's my thing. He tears them down so he can take over.
That'd be awesome.
So basically, you flip the tables. When he becomes in charge, and he thinks that he's the winner, you turn him into the bad guy. You turn it so he's taking control of the WWE Universe. They're now in his hand. It's essentially what happens.
And then, hey, maybe Daniel Bryan's healthy by then, and you can bring Daniel Bryan back, because those two had great chemistry.
Of course.
They do.
I mean, you want to look at it? Batman Returns film with Penguin. It's Cobblepot taking over as mayor, or running for mayor. And when he gets there, he finally snaps and turns on everyone.
Yep.
Let's just reuse that story.
Yeah, and, well, like I said, Daniel Bryan would be the perfect person to come in after Wyatt abuses his power that he got as a face, and then he turns heel. Bryan could be the guy that comes in and saves the WWE.
I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
'cause-
I'm also okay with Reigns doing it, because
Reigns
that way
would be
Reigns
cool.
gets a face pop.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know. Do you think Reigns would ever get a bigger pop than Wyatt? Daniel Bryan will. That's the thing.
If Reigns has if the character develops on pace like it should, then he should get that face pop.
I'm a Reigns guy. I like Reigns. I know that, I sat there at Royal Rumble in Philly, and he didn't get booed because he was Roman Reigns. He got booed because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. And that's where wrestling fans got confused and started all this hate towards Roman Reigns for no reason. Meanwhile, a year before that, they were chanting Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and then they shit all over Batista because
Because he wasn't
He
Daniel
won.
Bryan.
Right.
he wasn't Daniel Bryan.
Here's a good one for you. If you're a Roman Reigns fan, tune in tomorrow night on Breakdown before the podcast orgy. Tomorrow night, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should like Roman Reigns.
Ooh, I'm watching it. I might watch it with my pants off getting ready.
Oh,
I
I
like how
have
Crystal
a
was ready to
vision.
say something and then suddenly went, never mind.
I have a vision of Matt now sitting around in tidy whities.
Ah, no. I'm a commando guy, so. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, so
I'm no.
you're sitting around naked wearing what?
Just
Eating
naked in my
Doritos.
garage.
Why do you think I haven't worn, any cameras on this show? Just me and a microphone.
Part of me just wants to take my shirt off and put the camera on real quick, so it makes it look like I'm
Please
butt
don't.
ass naked. But I'm not doing that.
At
No one wants
least
to see.
save that for tomorrow.
No one wants to see my doughy midsection.
There was something said earlier that I'm trying to
Deli
remember.
midsection.
What?
Yes. It's the opposite of a
Go
six
for it,
pack.
Chris.
No, it's alright. I'm trying to remember what was said because I had a point I wanted to make, but I've completely forgotten it.
Oh, it's Chris, so of course he doesn't know what he's talking about. We have two of those. No, I'm just
No, I mean before Krista spoke about Wyatt Reigns, there was something I was gonna say. Ah well.
I'm sure if it was important, you'll remember it. That's just how it goes.
It was good. That's the sad part.
I love when shit like that happens because you're like, yeah. Guys, Seth versus Brock is going to happen at Battleground. I want a quick prediction. It's 5 weeks away. Who wins it?
Brock.
Seth Rollins.
How?
No, Brock. Because this all plays into my whole thing about Triple H costing Seth Rollins the match.
Okay, so you think Triple H is going to cost it?
That handshake with Paul Heyman and the Authority meant a little bit more than people thought. That's how I would play it out.
Okay.
So pretty much, Brock's beating Rollins down, and people, Rollins starts getting some energy, and Triple H comes out, and it looks like he's going to support Rollins. Ref accidentally gets hit, one of those things. Pedigrees Rollins. Brock gets up, F5s Rollins. Rollins loses the title. Or you could book it where Rollins somehow miraculously pulls it off, and then Triple H pedigrees him, Sheamus cashes in. Sheamus is the new face of the Authority.
I could see it.
I could
If
see
they're
that too.
doing it, they need to play into that Triple H has a gym buddy. Really fuck over the IWC. Have them say that, I guess they were right all along. Just so the fans feel smart, so they think they've got something, and then later down the line, Triple H can tear it all away again. Just troll them.
But it'll never happen because, you have JBL going, oh my god, Mago, and then you have Booker T just making weird noises the whole time.
Shucky ducky quack.
The announcers don't play into anything.
You're too busy doing selfies.
I was going to say, my favourite thing that I remember was when Triple H talked about how him and his friend Mark weren't going to watch anymore, and I was like, oh.
That was so funny.
I was like, oh, this is
I've got a real issue at the minute with fans who think they're smart. And I don't mean that as in like, oh god, you fans that think you know things are annoying. It's the fans that think they know things and that say they can do things better than everyone else.
That's why I want to do that promo show I was telling you about before the air.
I completely agree. I think you should.
I see people butchering Ryback. Oh, this guy can't talk. This guy can't talk. Yeah, he's not the best talker, but that's why on my show that I'm going to have coming, you can try to cut a 2-minute promo, and then we let everyone else rip you apart because it's probably not going to be good. And if it's good, we'll give you props.
See, I like the idea of this, but I think at the same time it should be one person per show cuts the promo, and then you give tips on how you would do it. So they redo bits of the promo through the show to see how it sounds different.
You should also make it a rule they can't cut a promo in someone else's style.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be your own character. You have to give us a character name and what the whole gimmick is.
So Paul, if you're listening, you can't have Dusty Sweat. It's just not how it works. No Dusty.
And I have to apologize, Paul. I just realized you weren't on the show.
Awkward.
So who's winning, Rollins and Lesnar? Because I'm the only one who answered that.
Lesnar. No, we all answered it. We all
answered. We all just said Brock.
Yeah, you
Go
just
into
went
detail. I want to hear details.
Okay, I'm going to say Brock wins, but I'm going to say Brock wins by DQ.
I think my response.
A little dust to finish.
I think they will. I'd rather they didn't. I think maybe Sheamus gets involved or someone gets involved, and then do you know what? It could even be Ambrose. I've said this before. Ambrose just gets jealous, and he goes after Brock because he believes he should be getting the title shot. Like,
you know what they could also do?
Go for
Sorry,
it.
go ahead, Paul.
Paul's
When
not
you
here,
say,
but I'll take that.
You know how you say Sheamus could cash in? Well, you could still do it and then have it as a triple threat. So Rollins doesn't even have to get pinned to lose the title. Brock could pin Sheamus.
There is no Rollins.
I can't see Sheamus being another world champion.
At this point, Rollins losing isn't a big issue. Lesnar losing was a big issue because he's the man who ended the streak. Rollins
Triple H is going to screw. Triple H is going to screw. I just have that feeling.
Yeah, that has to happen.
But this is what I'm saying is that if you have Sheamus cash in and Lesnar pins Sheamus, he gets the world title and Rollins doesn't even have to lose.
No, but the issue is, the reason that they had Rollins cash in and make it a triple threat was because it was to protect Lesnar. Rollins doesn't need protecting. Rollins can take the pinfall, no issue.
Yeah, Rollins got pinned by fucking Joey Mercury.
Yeah. You have something happen along the lines of, it's a clean match, Lesnar wins. To build it up, you have Triple H talk about how much Seth Rollins has let them down. And you have them be really harsh on Rollins, make Rollins look like the face and the victim. And that's how they'll end up with Triple H versus Seth Rollins. You don't have to have a screw job happen just to make a story there.
Yeah,
I don't really want to see Trips versus Seth Rollins.
It needs to happen.
Oh, I do. I think that would be fantastic. Because I think Triple H versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 was amazing, and I think him and Seth could put on probably a little bit better of a match because I think Seth is a little bit more believable because he has some height on him.
Okay.
And because he can sell.
Okay, check this out. I'm going to go on a 15-minute Wasim here. Thank you, Mind of Carnage. So obviously there's been a lot of people recently trolling the internet and the IWC more particularly. There's been one account made. I don't know who's made it. They're going by the name The Nickel Bella.
The Nikki. Yo, come on! Don't bring my girl into this.
No,
What?
no, no.
Oh.
The Nickel Bella. So it's Nikkal Bella.
It says supporting Nikki Bella though. Like, don't support her if you're gonna.
Okay.
Oh God.
You waiting for
Oh,
this
here
one?
we are.
Top tweet on their profile. I hope the rest of Dusty's family dies. What is wrong with these people?
I hope you die, whore, at Lana.
I mean, people
Ugly
like,
whore, at Lana.
I think you're a butthurt person in your basement, sir.
No, this has to be a troll account because they wrote, I think I got herpes.
Yeah, it also only got made 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's either way. It's
Saying
It's
racist
wrong.
shit, like this person sucks.
yeah, accounts like this really do my head in. Thanks
Dude,
for
we had one
pointing
of
that
them
out,
tweet
Mind
the
of
Wrestle
Carnage.
Addict. They tweeted us the other day, and they went on this huge rant, and then I went to read it because G-Rod's like, yo, someone just totally ranted about us. And I went to look at it, and their fucking page was deleted because it was like a fake account.
I hate showing that.
Bitches.
Saying that, I do love the odd occasional troll coming over to the account, just so you can kind of slander them a little bit, quote their tweets, because people love when you quote their tweets, because they're kind of like, oh, you're only doing that to show off, get some attention, get people on your side. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're an idiot. There's not even an argument there. I'm agreeing with you because you're a FUD. I haven't used that word in ages. I like FUD. There we go. On top of Triple H, Seth Rollins, what other matches do you want to see at SummerSlam?
Bray versus Roman, rubber match. Owens versus Cena, I want to see the final match. I want that to be the third match. I don't want them to go near Cena, Kevin Owens at this next pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
leave that to SummerSlam. Leave that to
I think they played it off as Cena is now too injured for the Battleground match.
Do they keep him off for 5 weeks? So that's the whole thing. Like, that's the only problem I see with this build now, because you've been doing so many 2-week builds. The 2-week build was great to sell injuries. You're going to keep Cena off for 5 weeks, or maybe Cena says, I want to do it for the belt. Try maybe like U.S. Championship match at SummerSlam, which is the second biggest, pay-per-view they have. Do you think he kind of, or they do like a, I don't know what they would do at Battleground with him, because Cena's not going to stay off TV for 5 weeks.
Cena doesn't need to stay off TV for 5 weeks. What he needs to do is come in at Battleground. Maybe Kevin Owens is doing an interview saying Cena's not here. That's all it takes. And then maybe 3 weeks before SummerSlam, Kevin
Isn't
Owens...
Cena slated to do a movie?
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
That's probably why he's off for 5 weeks.
And plus, the guy wrestles hurt and wrestles fucking 2 years straight with no break. I mean, he deserves a little bit of time off.
Okay, so check it out.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that Kevin Owens is going to be going for the US title. That's pretty much been announced.
Yeah, we all know what's going to happen to lead him to go into that as well. He's going to obviously lose the NXT title July 4th in Tokyo against Finn Balor.
Right.
Does
And
Cena
that's
cost
fine.
him the match?
Samoa Joe does.
See, no, I would have Cena do it because Samoa Joe's not coming up to the main roster anytime soon. And we know that Kevin Owens is going to be on the main roster for the time going forward from this.
That's
Yeah,
true.
after July 4th, he won't be in NXT again.
So, after July 4th, John Cena costs him the match, Finn Balor gets the win, Japanese crowd go mad. Next night on Raw, or whenever the next Raw is, Owens comes out, goes to threaten Cena. Let's say at that point, you get Finn Balor showing up to do his US title challenge. One match, that's it. That's all he gets. Then it's back down to NXT. Showing where this then shows the main roster audience where Kevin Owens' NXT title went.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean,
And then you
they're not
have
gonna, they
You
won't
have
book it
Owens
like that.
Yeah, you have Owens cost Finn Balor the match on Raw. You then have him attack maybe him or Cena, whoever, until Cena agrees to having the US title match at SummerSlam.
You see, the alternative is you have the match at Battleground. You then have Balor versus Owens at SummerSlam.
They're not going to put Balor on the SummerSlam card yet.
No,
If he's an NXT champ, they're going to want to have him be the face NXT.
Yeah, no, the SummerSlam match is going to be John Cena versus Kevin Owens' US title, and that's because it's going to elevate the US title yet again.
Yep.
Even after Kevin Owens stomped on it twice. And I heard people complain about that, saying, why would he want the belt after he stomped on it? He wants the belt because he's taking it away from John Cena.
Yeah, this isn't about the belt. This is about taking it from Cena after the disrespect.
Yeah, it's about wanting something that someone else has for the sake of wanting it. It's like that bad kid in school that took your money just because he could.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Owens personally is the guy to do it. My only concern is where they put him after that. And where they put Cena after that, etc., etc.
See, I have Cena go for the IC title after that.
Well, so you have him go after Ryback.
Well,
or Big Show or Miz or whoever it is at the time.
Yeah, because the one thing that Cena hasn't done in WWE is the IC title.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's tough because obviously Cena doing anything at this point, they've got to be careful what they do with him. He's elevated the US title. He's elevated so many stars. They can't put him straight back into the main event scene.
I'm not even a fan of having him near the main belt now.
He's my early pick to win the. To be honest, he's my early pick to win the Royal Rumble because he hasn't been in the spotlight, and I don't think he will. Yeah, I don't think he will till WrestleMania.
No, probably not.
I think you could see Reigns versus Cena for the belt at Mania.
No, you see, Reigns has to win it the first time at Mania.
Yeah, but I see. You know what?
Sure.
I could see them, having Cena do, God forbid, one last run. I don't know if they'd want to do that because then again, he
the only way they can do it is if he's heel.
Well, that's just it, and they won't turn him heel. They can't turn him heel.
Oh, they almost turned him heel for The Rock.
Yeah, they almost turn him heel,
but
they can't turn him heel. Yeah, but they can't turn him heel now. Not after everything he's done for Make-A-Wish and all that.
They can. You do it at SummerSlam. You make it his final run.
Yeah, as a heel.
You make him a heel, and then you make Roman Reigns the biggest fucking guy in the company. Because all it's going to do is you have Cena go heel, turn on everyone, join with the Authority. Could you imagine Triple H and John Cena cutting promos together as the Authority?
I'm not going to lie, John Cena cutting heel promos against the universe is all this time.
Krista, mute your mic.
Damn, who's in Kane's basement?
That'd be Krista. Mute your mic.
Yeah. The Cena turning on the crowd and the WWE universe after everything, that will be the biggest turn.
Right, and that's why you do it round SummerSlam kind of time. What if he's the one guy to save Seth Rollins from Brock Lesnar?
Hey.
Maybe he screws over Seth Rollins and shakes Triple H's hand at the end of SummerSlam. This way, Seth Rollins becomes a babyface, John Cena becomes a heel.
I always thought they should have put Cena with the Shield.
I would have liked that. It would have been interesting.
He wouldn't have to change his attire at all. He would just wear black khakis.
I'm not sure if you guys remember was it WWE 12 or 13 when they had Punk
in the vest?
That was 13, yeah. It was meant to have been CM Punk.
Yeah, that was his idea. He wanted Chris Hero. They replaced him with Roman Reigns. But he was fine with that. But then I think the Shield made such an impact that they wanted to just keep it what it was and not associate any stars. Which WWE did correctly, because now you have 3 fucking megastars.
I agree. And now is the time when you've got your babyface building to turn your current babyface, your biggest babyface, heel, because that's how you make an impact. If you're not at the pinnacle of being a babyface, you cannot have the biggest turn possible. Look at Hogan.
Oh,
that's the example you need to... I hate Hogan, but that's the example you need to follow for that heel turn.
You know what, though? I hate Hogan, but I look at his WCW work. As a heel, so much better.
Right, and that's what scares me about Cena, because if he's good now, imagine what they can do with him.
Yeah, wrestlers like to play the heel part better. It's easier. It really is.
I remember when we had a seminar with Dennis Stamp. Basically, he said the guys that are nicest in the locker room will play the best heels,
Well, because
and
you
the
can let
guys
it.
who are assholes in the locker room will play the best baby faces. Because
People,
on you go,
people.
Chris.
I was going to say the people that are the nicest tend to let it all out when they're playing heel.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine Cena doing that now? He doesn't need to insult kids. He doesn't need to insult the universe. He just needs to praise Triple H. I mean, that should be enough. He just needs to praise the authority.
And get Justin Bieber to perform at WrestleMania.
Oh, God.
See, I always had this idea, like their last run, you make a faction with Triple H, Cena, Randy Orton, all these guys have been here for a while, and then you build stars by having them knock them off, kind of like what they did with the Evolution and the Shield. But you make Cena and Orton and whoever's still there join this faction where they are the legends. You know what I mean?
Yep. Kind of like the Main Event Mafia was in TNA.
Yeah, you could even call the faction legendary. Like,
Oh, God, that's so crim. Oh, I died inside. Let's not call it that.
why? It would be fun.
I've heard worse.
It'd be perfect for Heat.
Ugh. Just call it the Class and have it guys from O2 and OVW. I mean, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Brock, Randy Orton, and John Cena.
And Batista makes an appearance.
Yeah, I could deal with that, even if it's a one-off. Guys, you've heard us talk all kinds of shit about wrestling tonight. If you've liked what we've spoke about, please give us a like on our YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe as well. Like I said, the more of you that subscribe, the more content we can get out there. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow night to hear Breakdown at 6 p.m. EST. You can then hear Podcast Orgy 2 later on in the night. It's going to be great. Trust me. Do not miss it. Ourselves, Mind of Carnage, are out there. We're going to be joining Wrestle Addicts. We're going to talk dick jokes. We're going to talk wrestling, probably. We're going to have a special segment just for the Chris's. Who doesn't love a silent segment?
Dickheads.
Good, I'm glad we all agreed. Following that, guys, you can head over to levelsofwrestling.podbean.com where you can check out Ringside Ramblers, Mind of Carnage, Just Saying, and ourselves. Don't forget, we've got a special announcement coming tomorrow as well. Please do not miss that if you want to keep up with us. It is a good announcement. You are going to like it. And trust me when I say it's going to bring a whole lot more promotion for all of us. I don't just mean like the little podcasts all around Twitter. It's going to be a big thing for all wrestling fans that are tuning into our podcasts. Have I missed anything out? I don't believe I've missed anything out.
You're going to have to message me the big news because I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's definitely bigger than Seth Rollins' dick pic.
That's not the
The fact that we always resort to the Seth Rollins dick pic is just
Let you know the
sad.
impact his characters had, that's all we remember. On that note, guys, we've been the Levels of Wrestling. This has been Lowdown. Thank you for tuning in. Good night, and remember, stay on the level.